All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Look, we all know that absolutely paralyzing feeling of trying to learn a complex new skill, right? You're staring at a blank screen, just totally crushed by the steep learning curve. Well, today, we're going to lift that massive weight right off your shoulders. We are looking at the Master Wealth Blueprint, and specifically, we're zeroing in on the mechanics of rapid skill acquisition.
So, we have a brilliant playbook lined up for you today. We're moving from busting the 10,000-hour myth over to the 20-hour rule, going through a 5-point deconstruction checklist, and finishing up with skills for financial sovereignty.
Okay, let's start with Section 1, the 10,000-hour myth.
10,000 hours. I mean, we've all heard Robert Greene's 10,000-hour requirement for world-class mastery, right? It is a massive, intimidating number. If we treat every single new skill we need to learn as a 10,000-hour commitment, acquiring the tools we need to succeed feels like literally climbing Mount Everest. Honestly, who actually has time for that when you're just trying to get a project off the ground? You simply don't have enough hours in a lifetime to master everything.
And when you combine that intimidating 10,000-hour mountain with the reality of finite labor, trading your limited hours for wages, escaping the middle class feels completely out of reach. The source material calls this the trap of finiteness. It's a linear decay. Your earning potential is shackled strictly to the clock, and so you're terrified to take time away to learn something new because the time investment just feels way too massive.
But what if I told you that you don't actually need to be in the top 1% globally to use a new skill effectively and change your life? That brings us to Section 2, the 20-hour rule.
20 hours. Seriously, that is a dramatic drop in required time. This is Josh Kaufman's incredible paradigm shift from the source text, the 20-hour rule for rapid functional proficiency. Are you holding on to the belief that you have to be an absolute expert before starting? Because this concept brilliantly illustrates that being simply good enough for business use is very often all you need. You don't need to be a world-class coder to build a functional app. You don't need to be a world-class marketer to write copy that converts. You just need functional proficiency.
Now, the crucial takeaway here is how we actually apply these two rules. We're not throwing the 10,000-hour rule away entirely, not at all. We save those 10,000 hours of deep practice for our core, specific knowledge. The thing you are authentically best at. But we use the 20-hour rule to rapidly acquire high-leverage supporting skills. Need to learn basic coding, video editing, or even touch typing to support your main business? 20 hours of focused practice is the exact target.
So now that we've busted the myth of needing endless time, let's move to Section 3 and look at the 5-point deconstruction checklist.
This is your tactical guide. This is how you condense months of overwhelming, aimless learning into a highly focused, highly effective 20-hour sprint. Let's walk through exactly how you execute this.
Step 1 is deconstruction. We don't just sit down to learn programming unless you enjoy an immediate headache, right? That's way too broad. By breaking a massive skill down into tiny, manageable sub-skills, it's like smashing a giant boulder into little pebbles. We instantly relieve the anxiety of that steep learning curve by figuring out the exact micro-components that make up the broader skill.
Next up are steps 2 and 3. We learn just enough to self-correct our own mistakes. We aren't reading 10 dense textbooks before we start. We research just enough so that when we actually practice and mess up, and you will mess up, we know exactly why we did. And while doing this, we absolutely must ruthlessly remove barriers to focus. That means phones in another room, television off, the whole shebang. Those 20 hours must be pure, unfiltered focus.
Step 4 is absolutely vital. This brilliantly illustrates the Pareto principle in action, the 80-20 practice rule. This means we have to isolate and focus exclusively on the 20% of subskills that are going to generate 80% of our functional results. Ignore the obscure, super advanced techniques that take up 80% of the textbook but only give a 20% edge. Focus on the core mechanics that actually drive the outcome.
Finally, step 5, pre-commitment. This is the psychological moat you must build to survive those first few hours of feeling, entirely incompetent. The human brain hates feeling stupid. You're going to want to quit at hour 2, but pre-committing to 20 hours guarantees you'll push through that initial friction. And getting through that friction is exactly where the magic happens.
This methodology is extracted straight from the dense frameworks of the Master Wealth Blueprint. It's systematized, it's highly logical, and it's perfectly built to eliminate those biological biases that tell us to just give up and go watch TV when things get hard.
Okay, Section 4, Skills to Financial Sovereignty. We have the method, but why are we doing this?
We are acquiring these skills for one specific purpose, and it's a big one, so we can break the time-income link.
We want to transition from a laborer seeking a paycheck to an owner of automated assets. As the blueprint dictates, true wealth consists of acquiring systems that operate while you sleep.
This is where we apply our newly acquired 20-hour skills, focusing specifically on Naval Ravikant's 4 levers to multiply our output. Look at the top 2 here, labor and capital. These are permission-based. You need someone to agree to work for you or someone to literally give you money. There is inherent friction there. You have to ask for permission.
But look at the bottom 2, code and media. The modern architect prioritizes code and media because they are permissionless leverage. Guys, this is a real game changer. It means the skills we just learned in 20 hours, maybe basic web design or video editing, can now be used to build tools or content that reach millions of people while we are fast asleep without requiring a single gatekeeper's approval. No way you can do that with just your own 2 hands.
And when we combine this permissionless leverage with our authentic, specific knowledge, those things that feel like play to us but look like work to everyone else, we create an unshakable competitive edge. No one can compete with you on being you, especially when your output is scaled infinitely by code or media.
Ultimately, we are building these rapid skills to achieve what the text calls the sovereign end state. The goal of wealth isn't just hoarding currency, it's total autonomy. It is the freedom to live life entirely on your own terms, completely free from the trap of finiteness.
So, I'm leaving you with this final thought to really ponder. The barrier to entry, that massive mountain of mastery, is largely an illusion for the skills you actually need to get started. You have the deconstruction checklist. You understand permissionless leverage. So what autonomous system are you going to build with your next 20 hours?